Okay, so it says, little Jane was very excited about her trip to the beach with her father. There was only one thing on her mind, to take a dive into the incoming waves. After several weeks of pleading with her father to take her to the beach, the day had finally come. Her father took her by the hand as they drew closer to the sea. Then he whispered into her ears, "See that wave coming towards us?" She nodded in the affirmative. "Dive into it the moment it approaches us." Jane was bubbling with intense emotions as the waves drew close, but for some reason, she froze, unable to dive like the way she had been waiting for. The beautiful wave started receding and then vanished completely. Jane suddenly burst into tears, screaming, "My wave is gone, Daddy. My wave is gone. I couldn't make the most of it when it came and will never get to see it again." Her father smiled, put his firm hands on her shoulder, assuring her that, "Jane, don't worry, another wave will come." Lo and behold, Jane saw another beautiful wave coming their way. She froze for the second time and couldn't dive. The father turned to her and said, "Don't be anxious, relax. Another beautiful wave will come." Finally, when the seventh wave showed up, Jane mustered courage and took the dive she had been waiting for. She came out feeling great with admiration and gratitude for her dad. What lesson are you deriving from this paragraph that I have read? And maybe you should get this book so you can get those lessons that I'm talking about. But we have the author here with us. He's my very own boss. Interestingly, I was supposed to have been there for the book launch. I wasn't around, but I'm glad that we're having this conversation anyway. He has an engineering background, but he says he's also a content creator with a gift for weaving together engaging narratives that keeps readers hooked from beginning to end. Please, let's put our hands together for Mr. Roland Ofori. Hi. Finally get to see you on my show.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a seat, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you in the studio. And let me apologize again. I mean, we had the conversation anyway. I should have been there, but I couldn't. But congratulations on this book.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm so happy. This is not your first book, by the way.
No, this is my second book.
This is your second?
Yeah.
Why did you start writing books? Tell us.
I think I started writing at a very early age. If you remember those days of junior graphics,
yes.
Yeah, I used to write and I would send it to them to publish. Then when I finished SS and I had the privilege to go and be a people teacher, I was handling class 2. And every week I used to write poems for them. And then by the time I realized I had a book, I never published that one, maybe one day.
You should, one day.
Yeah, then I started taking blogging very serious. I think from 2015, 2016. I had my own page, Roland Ofori Speaks. Then after a while, I realized that I had aggregated a lot of, good materials I could, build on. So somewhere in 2017, I launched my first book, which was just a book of 366 quotes. And the whole idea was, I know people don't like reading. So if you read an entire book, what is the key message I'm trying to put across? So that was the first book, and it was 366 wisdom keys I've learned from my fathers. Then just last month, I launched my second book.
Launched this one. Yeah. And here we are today.
Yeah.
But why do you call it, Why Go for Crumbs If You Can Own the Bakery? What's the idea behind this book?
All right, so I think for me, the idea behind this book is that, especially if you look at the part of this world where we grow up with a lot of limiting beliefs, which we kind of normalize, we kind of, normalize the irregularity, and we don't get to see that there's so much there is to life. If I'll give you an example, in the village where I grew up, I think the idea of a successful young man was, someone who had a single room. In our days, they have this partition, and then they had this multicolored lights you pull. Yeah, then they have their Etukopo TV somewhere there, some stuffing chair. And that was life. That was the life I saw my cousins and uncles. So that was what I was also aspiring to until I chanced upon books, and that began to kind of expose me. And I realized that there was far much more to life than what I was bargaining for. And that took me from that environment. And I believe that my life is still a journey. So for me, I believe that sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and what you don't know can really limit you. Yeah. And the essence of this book was to use the power of storytelling to just challenge the thought processes of people to believe that there's more to it than they see, and for them to strive and become the best they can be.
Interesting. And I realize as you were telling stories at every chapter to precede whatever lesson you wanted to teach. So the first one I read was about little Jane, not being able to take up the opportunity. What was the import of that story? Yeah.
So once again, I think we grew up with this popular saying that opportunity comes but once, right? And I believe it's a very limiting belief.
Oh, it is? Opportunity comes but once, it's limiting?
Yeah, it's a very limiting belief.
Okay.
You are made to understand that if you don't get it right the first time, that is the end of you. If you look at our educational system, people are punished for not getting it right? People are ashamed for not getting it right. And what that does to us is that we all grow up and we are afraid to take risk, right? So you'll find that your average A student struggles to really, do well in life because he's been kind of programmed that you need to, get it right. And if you don't get it right, there's no other chance. So what I was trying to infer from this story is that opportunities are like sea waves, right? What you need to do is to train yourself to see the opportunity. Opportunities keep coming at any point in time. So for example, when I graduated from school as an electrical engineer.
From where, by the way?
From University of Mines and Technology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I picked the daily graphic to look for opportunity, I only look for whether there is any
engineering job. Yes.
When I switched to marketing, now I see things differently. At the point, if I say I want to do some law, I'll begin to see more opportunities. So what I'm trying to infer from that story is that people shouldn't box themselves. Be open for lifelong learning, and every opportunity that comes to you, there's something to learn.
Yeah.
And at the end, everything kind of the dots will add up for you to get your.
And that's something a lot of us do. That's something a lot of us do. So let's say you go even for, and I was just looking at her. She was so worried about asking a question and not being able to, get it the first time. And she felt so bad about it. And I told her, you shouldn't worry about it because, yes, we make a lot of mistakes. And we've been told over and over that when you make a mistake, take the lessons from it. But it's not that easy because we beat ourselves down all the time that why did I make this mistake? Instead of focusing on what opportunity was available at that point. Now, for you who is a writer and you, of course, interact with young people, what would you say to us about that? Because a lot of us, even till this day, I'm sure mistakes we made 10 years ago, they still haunt us, right? Yeah. What should we do? Yeah,
I think what we need to do is to have what is popularly called a growth mindset, right? So a growth mindset, to your point, is when you are able to step back to kind of pick learnings from what has happened. So, for example, you go and write your WASI, and then you don't do well. Someone with a fixed mindset will say, I am not good with this. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to pay you maybe that kind of thing. Or maybe let me just single out to, let's say, mathematics. You say, oh, I'm not good at maths. So you keep saying I'm not good at maths. And when you say that, what you then do is to, trigger what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. Because you said you are not good at it, you don't put in the work and pay the price to become good at it. Yeah. But someone with a growth mindset will say, I didn't answer the question the way I was supposed to. So how can I become better in the next one? Maybe it is the way or the approach to which you learned. Maybe you need to change your teacher or find a friend who understands it better. Yeah. And it is the same situation, but the person with the growth mindset will not give up, come again, and then get it right. Yeah. Well,
I think that's a very fair one. But there's also a chapter that talks about why do our fathers die so early? And then it talks about the pension shock syndrome. I'm linking that to the question that was asked during the BU segment about how to, make effective use of our finances and save. Yeah. Because a lot of people, you see that even after pension, they realize they didn't save enough money. Yeah. But for young people who may find jobs, or even if you don't have a job, at least someone will dash you some 10 CDs, and they always tell us, take a bit of it and save. So to that question that the young lady asked, how do you manage your finances and save effectively?
All right. So it is said that if you don't know where you are going, everywhere is a destination. And I believe strongly that the key to having financial freedom, I'll call it that, is for you to have a goal, right? So what is the ideal financial freedom you want? Maybe for you, you want to retire, live in Trasaco, and,
Amen.
and then have...
Hey, receive it all.
And then have about 5 sports cars, you know, and travel around with your family. Someone to say, hey, the kind of life I want at retirement is to, you know, own an acre of land at Vapo in the Volta region. I'll build my house, and then, you know, I'll have all these nice vegetables, all these plantations, and I'll eat healthy, enjoy the air, be an ebusia paying, you know.
Yeah.
That is it, right? That is what the person wants. Now, for each of them, the price to pay is very, very different, right? So normally what I tell very young folks is that at this stage, depending on the kind of financial freedom you want, what I will encourage you is that invest in yourself, right?
Okay, how?
Yeah, invest in yourself. So build your capacity. Okay. So I told you that at a point I was a people teacher. I was earning 30 Ghana, 300,000, all right?
How many years ago was this? Try to calculate 30 Ghana even
yeah,
now.
This was, I mean, was it 2009, 2000, yeah. So let's say that I look at the kind of life I wanted. I want to live in Accra, I want to live in my own house, I want to travel around places. How much can I save from that 30 Ghana? No. So I knew that I needed to build my capacity and quickly go to the next level, right? So thankfully, in this dispensation, information is for free, right? You go to sites like Coursera, where they have all the world-class Ivy League schools materials. You only pay if you want the certificate, because they know that Africans, they like certificates. If you don't like the certificate, you can get the knowledge for free, right? Okay. And what are the key areas you need to kind of build capacity? The first one is around, you know, financial literacy. I think a lot of people are not financially literate.
What does it mean to be financially literate?
So it means that you understand the power of money. You know how money works, and you are able to make money work for you in the long run. So mostly your parents or your pastors, they are not the right people you should talk to. Look for that uncle that everybody says is wicked. And they say he's wicked because he's rich and he doesn't want to share his money. That is the person you should get close to. We kind of shy away from those people, because I grew up and they say, oh, this your uncle is wicked, this your uncle is not nice. Then later I realized that it was because he didn't want to share his goodie with anybody. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? He doesn't want to share. You find people who are also very philanthropic and they like to share. Yeah. But you should always focus on people who have made it. There's nothing new under the sun, right? And anything you want to do, there's more power in association than to learn, right? So if you know that this person has done well in life, and you get close to the person, you learn at the person's feet. How do you get close to the person? Do chores for the person for free, okay? Maybe you are savvy with social media. Ask, hey, uncle, are you on Facebook? Or say, I don't see you're there. You know, or he has some business, you help the person build content, and then you are there to learn from that person. So find the people who you want to be like, learn from them, right? And as I said, when it comes to financial literacy, there are a lot of countless materials on YouTube, on the internet. Learn, and then most importantly, put it into practice. Unfortunately, in our culture here, our savings culture is non-existent. And I think it stems from the Wofawoho, syndrome. Because as I'm sitting here, I might say that, hey, the economy is tough, so I'll not give birth to plenty children. But I have some cousin in the village who is just reproducing. Yeah. And then when school reopens, you call you, oh, Charlie, your nephew, you open school, Charlie, how you go do them? But it's because when the way our society is, when you are falling and someone will come and rescue you. So a lot of people believe someone will bail them out. Yeah. So have that mentality that no one is coming to bail you out. For me, I think that these are some of the ways by which you can get to
where can we find your books to buy, Mr.
All right, so the book is principally distributed by a website called booknook.store.
Booknook?
Yeah, .store.
Okay.
When you go there, you can place an order and they'll deliver it to you wherever you are. They'll just bring it to your doorstep, yeah. Anywhere in the world. Then, of course, if you want the soft copy, it's on Kindle, Amazon. And anywhere you are in the world, you can also buy it at Amazon. Yeah. With time, we'll be listing it in some of the shelf listings and co. But you go to booknook.store right now, you can order it. Wherever you are, they'll bring the book to you. Yeah.
Why go for crumbs if you can own the bakery? And he just shared some nuggets of wisdom with us. There's a lot in this book, and I entreat you to get one for yourself and read. It's important. Mr. Roland Ofori, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for
and
the opportunity.
I know it's too early to ask, but any new ones, you know, in the pipeline?
Yeah.
Okay, so more books will be coming.
More books will be coming,
But in the meantime, let's get this and read it. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Roland Ofori.
I brought 2 copies for your listeners.
Oh, you brought copies for everyone?
No, 2 for your
2
most active participants, so you can give it out.
So the 2 most active participants today are getting free books.
Yes, all right.
No, not now. We'll share it. Relax. I know when I announce it, you people will just, jump on it. But thank you so much, sir, for your time. Please put your hands together for Mr. Roland Ofori. And when we get back, we have rapper Edem joining us. Don't go anywhere. Thank you.